Monday, August 18th. I realized I was in a really bad place. I had an anxiety attack right before going to the gym. I was done. I was over it. All of the mental overwhelm and the stress and the travel and the no sleep, it caught up with me. And that Thursday, I decided it was time to make some radical changes immediately. I am in the process of redesigning my life in 90 days. Why 90 days? Because, well, we all know it takes 90 days to create a sustainable habit. However, the key component for this, I have realized, and I've known this for quite some time, it doesn't matter what your goal is, it doesn't matter what you're trying to do. If your mind ain't right, you will only get but so far. You will hit a wall. And that's what happened to me. I know for a fact, especially when it comes to bodybuilding, professional bodybuilding goals, my physique is going to go where my mind is. And that's exactly what's been my issue this entire year and a half now of me trying to get myself back on stage. I'm going to share the first week of what I did for redesigning my life, redesigning my mind. So this was from August 24th to August 31st. And what I'm going to do is we're going to make this a mini series on the YouTube channel. I'm going to check in and give y'all updates of how things are going. Y'all know, as per usual, going to keep it a buck, going to be honest with you. On the day of me recording right now, it is September 9th, a Tuesday, 1:45, and we are currently on day 16. By the time y'all see this, I'm going to be way further along ahead of the game. But I hope this encourages someone on the other side to do what I call a life audit. Be real with yourself. If you can't be real with yourself, you can't be real with nobody else. And address some things, especially if you keep hitting walls in particular areas of your life. All right. I'm looking down because I got notes here on my iPad. I want to stay on task. I don't want this to be too long, but I have a feeling it's going to be long. Y'all said you don't mind when I yap. So I hope you mean it. Let's roll. The first thing I did, I had to get off of this dopamine situation, just the overstimulation of it all. When I tell you my nervous system was a wreck, my nervous system was a wreck. Getting off of social media. If y'all follow me on Instagram, you know I have not been active. In fact, I believe it was on August 23rd, on 24th, when I put up my post saying I'm taking a step back. And that has been one of the best things. First of all, social media for me, it's a time suck. I'm always stressed about not having enough time. And while I don't feel like I spend an obnoxious amount of time on it, sweetheart, when you add that up at the end of the week, at the end of the month, and you see exactly how much time you spent scrolling, and then you think about all the times when you were stressed out, when you were rushed and overwhelmed because you felt like you didn't have enough time, that's where all your time went. I guarantee. For me, I'm grown. I have no problem saying, as a grown woman, social media affects me. Now, it's going to affect people in different ways. For me, because I am someone who is a high achiever, because I am someone who can be addicted to work, it sometimes made me feel like I wasn't doing enough. It made me feel like I wasn't good enough. It made me feel like I was so far behind. And here's the thing, I know that's not true. Okay. However, we have head knowledge and we have heart knowledge. And sometimes, depending on where we're at in our lives, depending on seasons, depending on if we lean or an off season, sometimes these concepts that we're aware of, they're just head knowledge and they haven't quite hit the heart. And where I was in that moment, I was wise enough to say, this is not healthy for me from a time perspective, from a time management perspective, and for my mental. The overstimulation of it all, the dopamine hit of it all, it is too much. We need to take a step back. We need to learn how to be bored again. We need to learn how to sit with ourselves, which I am really good at sitting with myself. But just sitting and not having the constant scroll and the screen time, yeah, had to pull away from that. And another thing that I did was as well, I stopped taking my phone with me in places it should not go. Hear me. I'm not coming for you. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you the things that I have already been implementing for the past 16 days. And these things, within a week, I felt 80% better. Okay. But stop taking my phone with me. Hold on. I gotta check off these as I go so I don't get lost. Okay, so stop taking the phone with you in the bedroom, in the bed. I know we like to wake up and scroll. I don't do that anymore because what's going on Instagram that is more important than me having my downtime, than me being in my bed? There is nothing more important on Instagram than me being in bed winding down. Now I know a lot of people do like to use social media as their wind down time, and I get it. And hear me clear, because I hate when people project their own issues onto others, or because they struggle with a specific sin that they want to put on everyone else. I am well aware that this is not everyone's problem. Again, so please hear me clearly when I'm saying this. For me, these things are not healthy for me. For me, I don't need to be in my bed scrolling on social media. If I'm in my bed, we need to be sleeping, either sleeping or reading. Those are the only two things that need to be happening when I am in my bed. Also, taking the phone with me in the bathroom. Now, it's one thing if I'm getting ready for work, right? And I'm doing my hair, makeup. You got a little, I'm a YouTube girly. I do watch YouTube. However, even my YouTube content intake has changed drastically. I don't watch a lot of the things that I used to watch anymore. I'm so much more intentional about what I'm watching. I am more aware of how something makes me feel. What you consume reflects on the outside. That goes for food. That goes for podcasts. That goes for who you follow, what you engage with. What you consume will reflect on the outside. So keep that in mind. And at the dinner table, why do we need to have our phones at the dinner table? The dinner table is sacred family time. We are to be breaking bread. This is biblical. No phones at the dinner table. I had to come up off of coffee for a few days. I am someone who is already sensitive to caffeine. I don't abuse caffeine, but y'all know how it is in prep. Once we get going, we're tired but wired, and that's exactly where I was. I was tired but wired perpetually, and that is a bad place for me to be. I know that if I don't sleep, I'm a monster, and my sleep was a wreck. And when my sleep is a wreck, my gut is a wreck. Everything, it was just all bad news. And so coming up off of coffee for a few days, caffeine in general was a must because my anxiety was sky high. And also, when I went back to drinking my coffee in the morning, because I am back to my coffee in the morning, we got to stop drinking coffee on an empty stomach. Now, I know some of y'all like to use your coffee as your pre workout situation because, well, not pre workout, before you do your fasted cardio, to each their own. The way my gut lining is and my gut health was, along with the stress, I don't do that anymore. I do not do that anymore. I'm not going to get up here and harp on the whole fasted cardio versus not fasted cardio, because in the name of getting lean, if you don't do your cardio, you're not going to get lean. So pick your poison. There are some mornings, depending upon my schedule, where I do it fasted, but not because I personally believe that it helps with fat loss. I've done both. If you aren't in a caloric deficit, you ain't gonna lose body fat. We have to stop making things way more difficult than what they need to be. It's that simple. So for me, I know that if I want to have coffee, something needs to go in the belly first. So it might be a rice cake, it might be an English muffin. Doesn't matter. Whatever you choose, something's got to go in, and my stomach, along with some other things I've been doing, has been feeling way better. Starting the day off and ending the day with something that you enjoy doing. This has been a game changer for me. My life was so overly busy due to my own fault. Packing my days with too many things, saying yes to too many things, allowing too many people to have access to me, which was another reason why I had to pull up off of social media. And please hear me clear. I love y'all. I love you dearly. I know a lot of you, we engage in social media. That's not what I mean. But there's always some couple of people who just they just feel like they can just suck you dry just because they watch your stories here and there. No, no, ma'am. Just I had to, unfortunately, of course, me doing that means that a lot of people just didn't have access, don't have access to me. But at the end of the day, and when it comes to me and my mental health, that is what was necessary. But starting the day and ending the day with something that you enjoy, it just makes you, because it makes you excited to go to bed. So, for instance, okay, I'm a reader. I like to read. So I have too many books that are going on right now. It's too much. But when I got a good book going, I'm excited to jump in bed and read my book. And then I start falling asleep. That's the other thing too. I stopped taking my CBD gummies. I was so upset with myself because I haven't had to take CBD gummies in over a year and a half. And then once I got deep into prep and I reached that tired but wired state, I started taking them to help me sleep. And the reason why I don't like it is because I'm a firm believer that after a while, it just starts messing with you. And I don't like that. So I had to come up off of that. My bad, y'all. Correction. It was not CBD. It was a Delta 8, which has THC in it. And it was one that had the relaxing properties. So to just help me relax and go to sleep. And I stopped taking it because I did not like the way that it was making me feel. I understand everybody is different. However, for me, no thank you. And allow my circadian rhythm to just get back to baseline for everything, to just get back to baseline, to find homeostasis and being able to naturally fall asleep and not have to depend on something to go to sleep. Glory, hallelujah, amen. Yes, 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 yes. So I'll fall asleep with my book. Or if I'm tired, I'm looking at the clock. Okay, Am, you got to go to bed, put this away. But guess what? When you wake up in the morning, you get to read your book for a little bit. It has been glorious. Whatever your thing is, just start, even if you can only do it for 5 minutes in the morning. I promise you, it is just a great way to start your day. Eating my meals outside on my front porch. I'm an outside girly. I have always, and I didn't realize it when I was younger, but I have always been able to feel and hear God outside. No phone, no distractions, just sitting outside on my porch, eating my meal, and just paying attention to my surroundings, the trees, the sky, the birds, people walking their dogs in my neighborhood. I love it. It is so peaceful. I love being outside, especially now the weather is, mwah, chef's kiss, is perfect. Such a vibe. Hobbies. So for this, I had to go back to my childhood and think about, what do I like? Because my hobbies and my passions and the things that I like have turned into my job. Beauty. It was a passion, it was a hobby. I loved it. Turned into my job. Bodybuilding, a passion. I love it. Turned into my job. I'm not mad about it. Not mad about it at all. But when that happens, you now need to find something else that you enjoy doing that has no income attached to it. And it took me a couple of days for me to figure out, okay, what do I want to do? I don't know what I like to do anymore. And so I decided to go back to my childhood and think, when I was happy and free, bill free, out here. Nobody's son getting on my nerves. just, minding my business, being just childlike. And the things that I like to do, y'all, I like to craft. I like to color. I like to read. I like to write. I like being outside. I'm a artsy fartsy human being. I don't know if y'all know that about me, but that's what I like to do. So I've been popping into these stationery stores because I love stationery. That was the other thing too. Do y'all remember Lisa Frank? I was that kid. The notebooks, the pens. I have always been obsessed with notebooks and pens and stationery. But as we progress in life and we get busy, we tend to lose the essence of the things that we loved doing as a child. And it made me think God calls us to have childlike faith because I kind of felt silly saying, this is childish. I'm a grown adult. I shouldn't be doing this. But if God called me, you, us, to have childlike faith, and I'm going back to a time in my life when I wasn't worried, when I was happy, when I was doing these things that made me jovial, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So I want to encourage you to just take a moment and think back to your childhood. What are some things that you like to do? Because y'all, there is more to life than working and grinding. And when I had this epiphany a few days ago, I said, you know what? Because we out here, we have been brainwashed and trained to think that work is everything. It's so interesting. Whenever you meet somebody, within the first 3 to 5 minutes of that conversation, what pops up? Oh, what do you do for a living? So you know what I am thinking in my head whenever I meet somebody and I'm getting to know them, instead of asking what do you do for a living, what do you like to do for fun? Because again, the world has trained us that what you do is the most important thing. And this is something that I have struggled with. You are not what you do. You are not your career. You're not. It is just something that you simply do. I am a beauty professional. I am a IFBB bikini pro. Those are things that I do. That is not who I am. Are they a part of me? Yes. And this is why we walk around here with these identity crises because we put all of our identity in these things. And if something happens and we no longer are able to do those things or we go through a life transition, we have a freaking identity crisis because we put our identity, our self-worth into those things. And that's not what we are called to do. You are made in God's image. We are made in God's image. That is our identity, not in what you do. So, realizing that we have been out here working to live instead of living to work. That's not cool. That's not cool. Get you a hobby. And another hobby I've been thinking about taking on? I think I'm going to take some tennis lessons. I need a physical hobby. So I have my artsy fartsy things that I like to do, but then I still that's that athlete in me. I and because the thing about tennis is I know I ain't gonna be nobody's professional tennis player. I'm not gonna be anybody's professional tennis player. I didn't have goals of being a or aspirations of being a professional bodybuilder. And when I say that, meaning when I got into bodybuilding, I didn't even know that being a professional was a thing. It just evolved over time. So in my mind, tennis is fun. I get a little cardio. I think that would be a good hobby for me as well. And another thing, music. Getting back to music. Y'all know I'm a music junkie. I'm a music lover. My mom is a DJ and I have been listening to some music. I'm always open. I like a little bit of everything. As of late, again, this is going to be very niche to me. This is not everybody's vibe, and that is a-okay. But jazz house music, chef's kiss. That's my vibe. It plays all day long. I'm loving no lyrics. No lyrics. Because again, some of these lyrics today, we have to be mindful of what we consume again. Some of that stuff, yeah, the beat's sick, it's dope. I love rap. I love hip hop. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't. I like Gucci Man. I like Jeezy. I like I like, hello. I'm a millennial. Okay. But after a while, when you start to become sensitive to specific things and you are hearing music and you're hearing the lyrics, and this isn't a conversation of, oh, you shouldn't listen to secular music. No, that's not it. Everybody is different. I don't have an issue with secular music. I've never had. I've always known because my mama taught me, well, you listen to this, but you don't act like that. You feel me? You don't act like that and you don't say that. But as I'm progressing in life, I just want to make sure that what I'm consuming is edifying, it's encouraging, it feels good. If God were to go through, if Jesus were to say, hey, let me see your playlist, would I be embarrassed to show it to him? Just a thought. Just a thought. Get at least 10K steps a day. So my period left again. So, with that being said, that let me know that I had to crank down on the high intensity cardio. I did that, still getting 10K steps a day. And then also, I'm back at working. I'm in the salon 4 days a week, and I get at least 16K steps without me doing my steady state walking. So, therefore, I cannot do additional cardio on top of that until I personally want to get my period back, and guess what, it came back today. It came back today, so chef's kiss on that. And I'm still making it my mission to get at least 10K steps a day right now. As far as priorities when it comes to just physique and bodybuilding right now, I got to get this other stuff right, because like I said in my video where I was talking about pausing prep, if you haven't seen that, I encourage you to go watch it, because that is where this video came from. But we cannot do anything well if we don't get this and this right. So therefore, me trying to, be stage lean right now, no, that's not my focus. Now, I'm going to be very honest and transparent. Genetically, I am a slim human. To put on body fat, I have to work a little bit harder to do so. Where I'm at right now, like 146, 147, I might even be 148 right now because my period is on, which is why I felt like I looked like a watery buffalo for the past 3 days. That makes sense now. But I can sustain here without doing anything. And that's not to, I don't want to in the comments, oh, you're so lucky. No, that's just me. That's just how I'm made up. In order for me to, get over that, I have to put in a little bit work. But right now, just getting hormones, getting everything stable, got my period back, which yes, thank God. Because can I say something really quick, especially to my athletes? Losing your period in prep is not a badge of honor. That does not mean that you are stage lean. Absolutely not. The reason why I lost my period, this is the first time this has ever happened to me, is because I have been high stressed. I've been competing for 6 years, and this is the first time I've ever lost my period. So I had it all the way through April. May was the first time that I lost it. Lost it in June. July, it came back, which makes sense because I wasn't as stressed out, but I was better. Lost it in August, and now we're back in action. So please understand that people will say, oh, that it's normal. It's normal because of what we're doing. That's just what how the body's going to respond. But just because something is culturally normal, it doesn't mean that it's right. Waking up earlier so that way I can focus and get more things done. Because let me tell you something, your girl's also back in school. I've been back in school since June. Yeah, since June. And I'm getting my bachelor's in biblical counseling. And I am on my second term. So my classes are 8 weeks long. If you haven't seen the video of that, where I walked y'all through the journey of my first 8 week term. So right now I am on week 4 of 8 of my second term. So I'm halfway through. This means that I have to do a little bit better with my time management, specifically with this term, because I have 3 courses. Okay, 3 courses. Right now I have Old Testament, New Testament, and theology. Old Testament and New Testament, no problem. But when I tell you this theology class has been kicking my behind, it, it's just so many big words, and because the thing about it is like it's it takes a little bit longer because when you are in a school of divinity, studying ain't normal studying because I'm studying, I'm reading things, but then God starts talking to me and then the Holy Spirit starts flowing. Then I start crying and so things just take longer. And with theology, I mean, oh my goodness, I'm not going to bore y'all. Like special revelation. There's just so much, and I felt extremely overwhelmed. So waking up early, yes, I'm not an early morning riser. I like to wake up at 7 o'clock. That's still early, but I know most people are typically up at 5 a.m. I'm that person now. I was waking up at 4:30 a.m. doing that, and then since I have been implementing all of these things, I have been getting within the first week I got special revelation. That and again, I didn't even know that was a thing until I learned it in theology. And so it lets me know this whole time, oh, I've been getting special revelation this whole time. God's been telling me things, but within the first week, the clarity and the special revelation and the things that the Lord has been telling me, it is confirmation that I am doing the right thing, that I am doing exactly what he told me. Because the way that he talks to me and the things that he tells me now, one day I borderline thought that I was going crazy because the downloads, it's a lot. It's a lot, but I'm grateful for it. And another fantastic thing, starting counseling. This is something that I have been wanting for so long, and it's been difficult to you want to find the right person, and I found the right person. I have been praying over it. God checked me on it because I've been praying for a counselor, someone to mentor me, someone to disciple me for sure a long time. And then one day I was at my counter. I don't know if I was just thinking about it and praying. The Lord spoke to me. He said, no, the only reason why you want it is because you want somebody to tell you what to do. I'm your teacher until you listen to me. If you can't listen to me first, you ain't getting nobody else. And I just, okay, sir, checkmate. However, counseling. I am a firm believer of Bible and therapy. Bible and counseling. Those two things together, mwah, chef's kiss. The Bible tells us to seek wise counsel. So I know this is where sometimes it can get dicey in the church community where they'll tell you, oh, you just need to pray about it. Oh, you don't, no, 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 no. No. God created specific individuals. And I'm so grateful for these people to be therapists, to be counselors, because God knew that some of these humans that he created, he knows the plight. I mean, that we have all the evil things and all the wickedness of the world due to the fall. It's in Genesis 3. That's why we have all these struggles. However, I'm grateful that God created specific human beings to help us when we come against these troubles, because I understand that the word plus therapy, the word plus counseling, the word plus counseling and prayer, and then faith without works is dead. You actually implementing and putting in the work and combining all these things together and walking in obedience. It's a beautiful recipe. I'm just popping in. It is late. It is August 27th, Wednesday, 8:10. I am actually packing up for North American Championship. I worked today. I came home, tried to get some homework done, but my brain just could not. My brain just could not. I had a virtual posing client with one of my girls because she is local to me and she's just getting close to show, so she wanted me to take a look at her. Did that. Now I'm packing up for North American Championship. If I just said that, I'm sorry. Again, I'm tired. However, the point of me popping in is to say I just got my first counseling client. I'm shook. I did not see this coming. So a little bit of backstory. I had a consult with her over 22 months ago, I remember, because she was just wanting some help with just her mindset and fitness and health. Because at one point, I don't know if y'all, oh, that wasn't an earring, yikes. If y'all have been following with me, I was dabbling with doing mindset coaching because, again, it's just something that I have always been it's just always something that I've been working on. I love psychology. I actually majored in psychology when I was in college the first go round, and especially just understanding the mindset with athletes or anyone with health and fitness. I just kind of started, that was when I really started opening up and realizing that you can't do nothing right in life if your mindset's not right. So it doesn't matter if you're a bodybuilder, if you are a mom, a wife, career, school, like if your mind's not right, and trust me, I know I live it because that's what this series is about. You guys are literally watching me redesign my life at the age of 36 in 90 days. And let me tell you something. The way that God gives you this stuff too, it's so interesting because once I committed to this content and putting myself through my own program, well, first of all, I was just standing there in my kitchen and then God started downloading things into my head, which is typically how it happens. So I just started writing out, okay, how am I going to go about this? And I think it's very cool that I am my own case study and I am literally walking myself through this. And then you guys already have 2 years of vlog footage of me just going through this journey with God and figuring out, okay, what direction in my mind, and now me transitioning to this. So I spoke with her then, and do you know, she messaged me 2 days ago. I just so happened to pop on Instagram because my thing now to keep from scrolling, I get on Instagram once a day to check messages. So not at the top of the morning because I don't want that to be at the top of the head, but also not at the last at the end of the day either because I just don't want to be on the screen. And I saw she had messaged me and I was like, oh, wow, I remember talking to her. And the reason why I know it was 22 months ago is because I remember she was pregnant. And so I told her that, hey, you need to focus on having your baby in that first year of your baby. Like, dieting is not your portion. Like, we don't need to be focusing on that. However, anyway, when she reached back out, we had our consult last night. I was like, it's been a while. How old's your baby now? She said 22 months. I was just kind of like, holy crap. So that's the thing. You never know what seed you're planting, even if you think no one's watching, someone's watching your content, or just, so I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh. So we had our consultation last night, and she's going to be my first counseling client. And how I have designed my program is called Redesign Your Mind. So she told me, like, in the inquiry form, like, she told me like what are the areas of her life that she's struggling with. So we're going to first start off by redesigning the mind, and then we can tap into her health, we can tap into her fitness, we can tap into her emotions. And I was really hesitant about going and doing this because, of course, I had my Moses moment. I'm not qualified for this. I'm still in school. But then I had a phone call with my advisor from school, and I will be done. I will have a bachelor's degree in 2027 in biblical counseling. So it's just so interesting how we can see God's fingerprints all over this. Everything. And I mean, He uses everything. The 13 years of me being behind a chair, that was preparation, because everybody know your stylist is your therapist, right? I am not a licensed clinical therapist. Like, if you need serious, like, clinical mental health help, I'm not that. Like, I know my scope, I know my line, but God, that was this whole 13 years has been preparation, I feel, for this whole big moment. And I'm just kind of like, oh my goodness. So with that, my life experience, my schooling, I'm just kind of like, okay, here we go. Here we freaking go. So we're not even deep down into the trenches of the redesigning my life, but I am so glad. This is what happens when you listen to God and you listen to what He's telling you and you just take a step back. He is going to deliver. He is going to give you double for your trouble. He is going to provide. He is Jireh. He is Elroy. He sees. Oh my. Mm, mm, Okay. Now, at the end of the day, I do my 90-day check-in. Y'all know I'm going to preach journaling down, okay? I'm going to preach it until there's no more breath in my lungs. I still journal. My journaling style, I will journal in a way where it's a brain dump, or it might be me working out my emotions. It might be me working out my thoughts. It's me praying, having a conversation with God. I still do that. This, though, is very specific. It's my self check-in. Y'all know how I get up here and I ask you how you doing mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically? That's my 90-day check-in. But to niche it down specifically for my 90-day design, I check in on those top 3 areas of my life, which is what I recommend you do. Like, once you have your life audit and you're real with yourself and you pick 2 to 3 areas that you're like, "Oh, these ain't looking too hot." Those are the 3 areas that I do my check-in on. So my mental health, that is the number 1, the most important. So what did I do for my mental health today? I went outside. I got sunshine. I sat outside. I did some coloring. I did some journaling. Cool. What did I do for my finances today? I checked my credit. I made sure I stayed on budget. I'm tracking my tips. Fantastic. What did I do for my business today? I checked in with God. He's giving me ideas. Okay, I need to organize these ideas. What type of content do I need to be producing? What am I thinking what ideas do I have? What's inspiring me right now? That's how I've been doing my check-ins, and it's great because it keeps me accountable, and every day ain't been perfect either, but that's all right. However, it's that accountability and making me think, and it's just keeping those 3 main areas that need the most work in my life at the top of my mind. For you, it might be your marriage, it might be, you as a parent, it might be career, it might be school, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Because here's the thing, we all got to wrestle, and folks got to stop judging others because they're struggling with something. Guess what? That thing that you're judging them for that they struggle with, I bet the thing that you struggle with, they don't struggle with. I digress. And last but not least, honoring the season that I'm in. I've had to accept that right now, I just simply don't have time for a lot of things. And that is okay. I have to focus on powering through these last 4 weeks. I did not want to take 3 classes. However, I didn't have a choice this semester. That's just the way it fell. However, because I have 3 classes, I it's a specific type of focus, which means I don't got time for nonsense. I don't have time for minutia. And honestly, it has been good for me. I was overwhelmed trying to fumble the schedule. I was fumbling the schedule, trying to figure out how to just arrange things. However, this has been helpful because it makes me zero in on what is a true priority and what is not. When you are truly working with a specific amount of time, you are going to manage that time wisely. So once this term is over, I'll have way more free time. It won't be, as tight. And then I can go back to taking additional clients outside of me working for the blow dry bar. I can still do a few clients of my own here and there, freelancing for a job, whatever the case may be. Now, what I have learned so far within that first week, my mind was exhausted. I did not have the proper systems in place, time management, and was doing way too much. Way too much. I had to drop a lot of stuff. I had to drop a lot of stuff. However, it's no surprise because the Lord been told me I was disobedient. And when we are disobedient, there's always a consequence. That's just what it is. I learned that I like other stuff, different hobbies. Like I said, listen to jazz house music, making Pinterest boards, reading. I fell down the rabbit hole of the journaling and planning community on YouTube. Had no clue. Had no clue there was other folks out there like me. I mean, you can find anything on YouTube, but that was new to me. Hand lettering and calligraphy. That was something I was supposed to be getting into, I don't know, 3 years ago when I bought the supplies to do it. I'm going to be doing that. I love that. That's fun to me. Being creative the way that I used to be as a child, because I need to. It's healthy for me mentally. And the last thing, I didn't necessarily learn it. However, it was highlighted. I've been working on a big project all year, and it has taken a long time because it's not an Amber idea. It's a God idea. And so there's just, you have to be spirit led, and it's not something that I can just throw together how I typically would and keep on pushing. No, with it, it made me realize in the future, I'm going to need help. It is biblical to delegate. Moses' father in law told him, you're trying to do too much, sir. You are trying to do too much. You need to focus on the big problems, find some elders in the community, let them handle the small stuff. And then what they can't figure out, they can bring it to you. That's biblical. I need to do that. And then also letting go of the fact that right now, my traditional bodybuilding style of training isn't my priority right now. I can't do it all. So I'm still training. I'm training 3 times a week. Again, this had to change also, which makes sense because I'm back in salon now 4 days a week. When I tell you the arm pumps I have been getting at work, I have never gotten arm pumps like this in my life. In my life, delts be busting, but I have never seen pumps like this on me in my life. So that made me realize, yeah, I don't need to be hitting upper body up obnoxiously. I have to train upper body because when I took some time away, I took maybe a week and a half away from not training, my arthritis start to kick up. And this has happened to me before. So if I take too much time off of training, my arthritis will kick up, my neck will start to hurt, my shoulders will start to hurt. And probably it was back in 2020, my first chiropractor told me that my saving grace is that my body is strong. And he told me if you ever stop training, you're going to feel terrible. And that's not a lie. So I don't need to be banging out upper body 3 times a week. I hit upper body once, get me a good pump. Then my other 2 days are glute training, glute hamstring training. So what worked this week? Sitting outside and eating worked beautifully. Getting sun. Um, Tracking my daily spending, being able to see exactly what's happening. It's one thing to check your it's one thing to check your bank account, but to physically write down every single day what you spent, it hits different. It hits different, and it's a habit that I have to still make myself get into, but it is a very good habit because again, with my financial goal, I need to see every day what we're doing. Starting and ending the day with something I enjoy work beautiful. No more than 2 to 3 big tasks a day. I'm about to crank that down to 2 because even 3 sometimes is too much. 2 tasks, stop packing the day. And then keeping my brain dump journal with me. So I have my journal that I put all my deep, dark things in. And then I have my brain dump journal. I have always done this, always. Probably have about 4 plain journals. This is just how my brain works. No lines, no nothing. I don't like lines in my journal. I just don't. I need to be free. And I think it's just because of the way my creative brain is. And I know most folks like lines. I get it. I understand. In fact, in the comments, if you're a journaler and if you're still here, do you like lines? Do you like blank dots, grids? I know no one probably cares, but just curious. For me, this is how my mind works. And what I would do first, it would typically just sit on my desk. So if I'm working on something, if I need to, make a to-do list, if I need to write a scripture, a grocery list, if I'm working through something, like what do I have in here? What did I start off with? So I started off with some scriptures on identity, a random checklist, to-do list, some YouTube content, my Bait of Satan plan for the book club that I have, spirit led ideas, not my flesh ideas. Oh, that's funny. So that's how it started off. But then, oh yeah, I've got some gratitude things in here, just, little quotes, whatever. So basically, like a commonplace book. And it would just always chill at the house. But now I take it with me everywhere because since I am not scrolling on the internet, since I am just sitting still and I have more time, the Lord has been talking. And so, therefore, when He gives me this stuff, I need to write it down. So, that is like a lot is happening in this brain. That has been so helpful for me, especially like when you're in prep too. I have a small one that I put in my purse that I typically always have, but in prep, when I start to forget stuff, we definitely got to write everything down. So that's what worked. And what did not work. I was proud of myself for adopting the habit of waking up between 4:30 to 5. However, when you're aware of your golden calf, when you're aware of your idol, it's good because you can put guardrails and boundaries up for you. I realized real quickly waking up at 4:30 to 5 a.m. so I can get more stuff done, that's my addictive nature to work. My struggle, my idol is work, productivity, being busy. And so what was happening was now I am waking up early, but I'm also still going to bed late. Baby, we can't do that. No, ma'am. We no, 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 no. That we cannot do that. And so that started putting me back into the tired but wired feeling. And like I said, when I don't get sleep, I'm no good. So I noticed it's not so much about the waking up early because I'm sure y'all have seen all the gurus. Wake up at 5:30, wake up at 3 a.m. Everybody can't do that. Everyone's not designed for that. So it's not so much about how early you wake up. Yes, you might need to wake up maybe 30 minutes earlier than what you typically do, but the key is using your time wisely, which goes back to the scrolling. And then with school, trying to do classwork, everything in one day for each class was not working. I had to break it up because it was too much on my brain. Too much on my brain. So this was long. This was far too long. I didn't want it to be this long, but here we are. I hope y'all don't mind. I want to leave you with something, okay? Journal prompt for the day. Is there an area in your life that you need to just slow down and give more attention to it? I want to leave you with this. We are to model our lives around Jesus. What would Jesus do? I understand that way more now than I did as a kid when I heard it. And Jesus had fantastic time management. Jesus was never in a hurry. Jesus rested. Jesus went off into desolate places. He isolated to pray, to be with the Lord. Jesus was intentional. Jesus was focused. Jesus also stopped when he needed to give attention to someone else. So, with Jesus being our role model, I want you to just take a moment, write out, is there an area of your life that you need to slow down, give more time to, adjust, life audit, all of that? Just think about it, sit with it. You don't have to tell me about it, but I just want to leave you with it because within 1 week, the amount of clarity that I've got is true. If you can just be still, remove the noise because that's what all it is just noise. It's just noise. And there's nothing wrong with social media. Social media is a beautiful thing. I would not I would not have the majority of the opportunities that I have had if it weren't for social media. So that's not what I'm saying, but you still need to manage your time wisely and you also need to be mindful of who, what you're consuming. So that's it for today, y'all. Episode 1 of Redesigning the Life in 90 Days, Redesigning the Mind. I'll pop back in and give y'all updates on this. Open encouraged you, and let's cast one more net.